I'm Louise Boyle here at COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt. We asked for your questions about the conference and the climate emergency. Let's have a look at what you said. If all these COPs are so successful, lauded by world leaders and the agreements so historic, why have we needed 27 of them? Depressingly, nothing will come from any of it. That's a great question and people ask me it all the time. So the COP, or the Conference of Parties, is the largest climate summit annually that's held by the United Nations. The first one, COP1, was held in Berlin back in 1995. So some have been more successful than others. COP21, for example, in Paris produced the Paris Agreement, which was the global deal that means we're all trying to keep the temperature to an ambitious 1.5 or well below 2 degrees Celsius. Others, maybe too many to mention, have not been as successful. Why are they important? Well, I guess from afar they look like a lot of world leaders flying in, glad-handing, big kind of starry, glamorous event. That may seem the case, not so. Behind the scenes, as you can see, there are hundreds of people, scientists, policymakers, negotiators, government officials who are working in teams with other countries to come up with agreements, hash out agreements on how to move forward on so many different issues: finance, health, water, food security. Is it a perfect system? No. Is it what we've got? It is, and in this decade, it's critical. The next question is from el-Sheikh. I work with so many incredible women in climate science, policy and comms. Where is the representation and leadership at COP27? There are a lot of women taking leading roles at COP27, namely from the top really, Amina Mohammed, who is the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations. But to just give a sense, and I'll do it around one particular issue that's become a big deal here, which is loss and damage. One of the leading voices for loss and damage and talking about climate compensation is Prime Minister Mia Mottley of Barbados, who has really been leading the conversations on this here, and especially when it comes to reforming and remaking global finance systems.
And we have the capacity to choose differently. I ask the people of the world, and not just the leaders, therefore, to hold us accountable and to ask us to act in your name to save this earth.
And then when you look at who has been tasked with leading those negotiations, that is Jennifer Morgan, who is the climate envoy from Germany, and Maisa Rojas, who is Chile's environment minister. The next question is from Anne Carey. It seems to me that the whole purpose of the corporate promotion of net zero by 2050 is greenwashing. It is an intentional distraction from the original Paris goal of 1.5 degrees Celsius. Is 1.5C, although out of reach, even mentioned at COP27? Is 1.5 dead? That is a really difficult question, and the answer is no. But the way I saw it described recently was, it's not dead, but if it was a person, it would be in hospital on life support. So first, a word about 1.5 and where that comes from. Since the industrial era really began and we really started burning fossil fuels with abandon, the global average temperature has raised about 1.2 degrees Celsius. So in 2015, everyone around the world got together, and as the climate damage was becoming more and more evident, and agreed to hold the temperature to 1.5 degrees Celsius. That was seen as the ambitious pledge of the Paris Agreement. It was also included that it should be held well below 2 degrees Celsius. We're projected to hit 1.5 by the early 2030s, which is earlier than a lot of scientists expected. And the current policies we have us heading towards 2.7 degrees of warming by the end of this century. And obviously that is catastrophic for anyone, wherever they might live in the world. So it's clear that a lot more ambitious action needs to be done at these COPs, especially in this decade. However, what's important to remember is that this is not a future problem, this is now. At 1.2 degrees of warming, you just have to look wherever you want. Look to Southern Europe, look to East Africa, look to Pakistan, look to Australia, look to Florida. It doesn't matter, climate impacts are happening now and they are catastrophic for people. So the matter is 1.5 might be the headline, but every fraction of a degree of warming that we save is crucial. Thank you for all your questions. Keep up to date on COP27 at Independent Climate and watch more on Independent TV. We'll see you again on You Ask the Questions.